भवतु सन्नो भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुसाक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। Can repeat. सदाशिवसमारम्भान् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयम् नमामि भगवत्पादम् शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। Salutations to all. So last session we saw the basics of what is sadhana, the means to reach a goal. Sadhya is the goal. Sadhak is the attitude that I am a seeker aspiring for that particular goal. And when I reach the goal, that state is siddha. In this Sadhana Panchakam, we see there are 40 instructions that Shankaracharya ji is going to give. And these 40 are arranged in a sequence of one's spiritual growth. So we find here the first instruction we saw was Vedo Nityam Adhiyatam. We will chant the first verse. If you have the book, then please open. Vedo Nityam Adhiyatam Taduditam Karma Swanushtiyatam Tene Shasya Vidhiyatam Abhachitihi Kame Matistyajyatam Apaugha Paridhuyatam Bhavasukhe Doshonusandhiyatam Atmecha Vyavasiyatam Nijagrahat Turnam Vinirgamyatam. So the first instruction is Vedo Nityam Adhiyatam. Study the Vedas daily. We saw in detail a lot of aspects about the Vedas. Ved means to know, and so the first instruction is gain knowledge and be in touch with knowledge on a daily basis. Because intellect must be inspired, and to make right decisions, to have balanced decisions, to keep the intellect sharp, knowledge is very important. And also knowledge about our culture, our roots are also very important for us to live the values. In that context, we have shared with you this knowledge chart. I will quickly go through this. Last time we couldn't go through this fully because some of the words were not here. So knowledge in our culture is divided into two aspects. One is the apara vidya, which is the intellectual knowledge. Other is the para vidya, which is the intuitive self-knowledge. Intuitive self-knowledge is the knowledge of one's own true nature. And when one gets that, attains that knowledge, one experiences that the whole world and I are one. This division that I am separate, world is separate, that ego creates the division. So self-knowledge arises in the heart of somebody who transcends that ego. That is what spiritual sadhana is for. But to come to that state, the apara vidya is important. So apara vidya is divided into two again, secular knowledge and spiritual knowledge, sacred knowledge. So secular knowledge is all the objective sciences, physics, chemistry, biology, mathematics, all that, external sciences. The sacred knowledge is divided into two aspects, shruti and smriti. So shruti literally means that which is heard. And it is a specific term where it is referring to revealed knowledge. Knowledge which is revealed to great masters in their quiet moments of meditation. And when we speak about revelation, don't think somebody revealed it to somebody. It is not like that. It is like a scientist who discovers certain principles, law of gravity, etc. Like that, internal revelations about internal way of working of our personality, certain secrets about the universe, all that. So this knowledge is the knowledge of the Veda. So Shruti and Veda mean one and the same. And the Vedas are four, Rig, Yajur, Sama and Atharva Veda. These four Vedas actually are four classifications. The Vedic knowledge is codified into four books according to their theme. And each of these Vedas also has three divisions. So first part of the Veda is the major part of the Veda which deals with rites, rituals, that is called Karma Kanda. In Karma Kanda you have mantra and Brahmana, that's a division. Ritualistic portions. Yeah. So Rig Veda has a lot of hymns about nature. Is the earliest Veda is the Rig Veda. So various hymns about nature, about seeing divinity in the whole universe. And also each of them have certain knowledge about the secular world also. Each Veda will have that. Sama Veda is about music. A lot of music, chanting, and it's very musical in pronunciation also. There is a different way to chant. It's called Samagana. Atharva Veda has lots of details about medicine, black magic. Some people say Atharva Veda is a later addition. Traditionally, it was not there, only three Vedas. When Vedas are classified, some people believe he did only three. Atharva Veda was added later by some other people. So many don't accept four Vedas, they accept three only. And Yajur Veda, again, rites, rituals, hymns for desire fulfillment. And also, Yajur Veda has knowledge about creation theories, all that. So four different, I'm just giving you a broad classification. Each Veda has by itself many other things also. It's very, very voluminous, each of them. And the broad classification of each Veda also is given like this. Karma Kanda has rituals for desire fulfillment. Upasana Kanda has practices for single pointedness, meditations for single pointedness. That is called Aranyaka. And then Upanishad or the Jnana Kanda is the last part of Veda, which is the metaphysics part. The identity of the self with the whole world and the creator. That aspect, Vedanta or Upanishad, is the last part of the Veda. And we have also given wherever we have statistics available, how much was there totally and how much is available. So just think about it. 1081 Upanishads were there. Today what is available is only 108. Why? Because it has been lost through centuries of invasions, destructions. So many of our Libraries were set on fire, destroyed. Temples were destroyed. Manuscripts were stolen. Many have gone out of India also. So many things have happened. What is available is very less actually. And yet it is quite vast what is available. So imagine what would be that cultural heritage, the knowledge heritage that was there in our country. So this is about the Shruti. Now to understand the Veda, there are two other things which are necessary. Veda Anga, which are called the limbs of the Veda, and Upavedas. In Upaveda, you should change that number 4 to 5. So Veda Anga, these are 6 limbs of the Veda. Like last time what we saw. They help to understand the meaning of the Vedas. So Shiksha is the phonetics, how to pronounce, what is the meter. And very important because when a mantra is chanted in a specific way, in a specific meter, it produces specific vibration. It is sound energy. And so when that is not known and we just chant, like simplest example is the Gayatri mantra. Very nicely with some harmonium, tabla, music, you can put it on. Being a sattvic mantra, it will not create harm. But it is a Vedic mantra and it has intonations. And when it is chanted in those intonations, it will give specific mood of the mind, it will invoke, also create externally certain vibrations which can help the body, help the environment. Even the invocation mantra that we chant, Sadhana Panchakam, that is a Vedic mantra. So if one knows how to chant it, that has a very different impact. So that is Shiksha. Kalpa is certain religious rites and rituals specific to invoke devotion and also to have desire fulfillment. Vyakarana is grammar. So the Vedic grammar is very different from the grammar that we know today. It has changed over a period of time. So what is the Vedic grammar? Nirukta is the glossary. What is the meaning of certain terms? You know, the sad part last time I was telling you is many foreigners, they translate our Vedas and we read that translation. They do not know only the usage of certain terminologies, in which context the word has been used in this Veda. Like when we did Tattva Bodh, you see that word Atma which is there. In so many different contexts, it will mean different things. Atma can mean the soul, Atma can mean the Jiva, Atma can mean the body, Atma can mean the mind. So which context, what that word means, this Nirukta can help to understand. The many meanings of the same word. And also the specific meaning in a specific context. Chandas is the science of meter. How many syllables in every mantra? So like the Gayatri mantra has 24 syllables. So many mantras which are written in the Gayatri meter. So there is a Surya Gayatri, there is Shiva Gayatri. The Gayatri mantra that we chant is Savitra Gayatri. It is dedicated to Lord Sun. So like that, Gita is written in Anushtup Chanda. So 8 alphabets per quarter. That helps to form the tune. That helps to read that properly. And not to break it in wrong places. Because if you break in wrong places, completely wrong meaning will come. So that way, Chandas, Jyotisha is astronomy and astrology. This how the planets affect us. 5 Upavedas. Ayurveda is about health and life. Dhanurveda is warfare. Gandharva Veda, art and music. Sthapatya Shastra, architecture. Artha Shastra, economics. This entire portion on this left side is for the Shruti. That is the revealed knowledge, Vedic knowledge. And this knowledge deals with the eternal principles. These principles don't change. But the application of those, the code of conduct in one's daily life, does change sometimes with the change in the culture and the environment around. So that knowledge which is adapting these principles is called smriti. One of the features of Hindu culture is this adaptability. Why has Hindu culture survived in spite of thousands of years of invasion and decline? Is because great masters come up and they adapt this knowledge to the present times. And so you have the smriti. In smriti there are these 7 divisions. Dharma Shastra. So there are more than 20 smritis. Each rishi at his time wrote how to live at that particular point in time. And Bhagavad Gita also is one of the smritis, because it is written by Veda Vyasa. It is not revealed knowledge. It is written down. So Gita is a Dharma Shastra and Moksha Shastra, and it comes under the category of smriti. There are 18 Puranas and 18 Upapuranas. And the Puranas also are divided so beautifully. 6 for Vishnu, 6 for Shiva, and 6 for Devi. 18 Puranas. Sorry, Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. Devi Purana will come in this 18 Upapuranas. Itihasa is 2. Now this difference we should know. Itihasa and Purana. Why the distinction is there? Itihasa is history. Itihasa. It thus happened. Now when the translation is done by foreigners, what do they translate it as? Mythology. And in some places the translation is done wantedly. A perverted translation is done so that we look down upon our culture. Today so much proof is available of the why Ramayana and Mahabharata have happened. And just because there are some poetic expressions in that does not also mean that those things are fully poetic and they have never happened. Puranas have a lot of mythology because these are stories. These are not history. It has not happened that way. Except some part of the Purana which will draw from history also. That's why the technical word is Itihasa Purana and Purana. They are distinguished also and they are combined also. So these 3 categories, Dharma Shastra, Purana, Itihasa. Then there are Nibandha Granthas. The religious rites, you may say so many places religious rites are there. Why so many places it is there? Because human being wants fulfillment of desire more and more and more. And also it is that by time those religious rites change. Like today we don't do Ashwamedha Yagna and all that. So by time whatever religious rites have changed, those are noted down and those are advised to people. Okay, in this time if you find it difficult to do this, then do this. That way. So Nibandha Granthas. Agama is what has been traditionally given out. And some of these Agama are also a revolt against a certain domination by Brahmins. So Tantra Agama is started as a revolt against the Brahmins, their authority and their monopoly and them denying the knowledge to the women. All that, to revolt against that, this Tantra Agama started. So this has Tantra Mantra. Then you can change that spelling mistake is there. Mantra is there. You just make it RA, Mantra. Tantra, Mantra and Yantra. They are there, you will find in these Agamas. And these Agamas are also divided. Tantra deals with a lot of esoteric stuff and Devi, Kali and all that. Vaishaiva Agama will deal with Lord Shiva, Vaishnava Agamas with Lord Vishnu and his generations. And there is Shakti Agama separately. Tantra has things about Shiva and Shakti both, but Shakti Agama is specifically only for Shakti. Then Surya Agama and Ganapati Agama. This is Lord Sun and Ganesha. Traditionally handed over knowledge from one person to another, but not like the Vedic Shrutis which are revealed. This is human composition. So Agama. And then there is Darshan Shastra. 6 schools of philosophy. Nyaya is logic. Vaisheshika is the atomic school. Very interesting actually if you see. Vaisheshika is Kanada Rishi. He gave the name for the atom, he called it as Anu, the smallest particle. And then further smaller subatomic particle, he called it Paramanu. And that whole school of philosophy is there, Vaisheshika. Sankhya, again it is about Prakriti and Purusha. cosmic school, cosmic principle school. Yoga is our yoga shastra, the Ashtanga yoga, etc. Purva Mimamsa is again rituals, and Uttara Mimamsa is a Vedanta. So what we are studying right now is this on the right hand side bottom one part, uska bhi one small part we are studying. Sadhana Panchakam. Why I am sharing this is many times we don't know the difference. What is Upanishad, what is Ramayana, what is Puran. So much confusion in Hindu society about so many of these. And also once I understand, this is not just a religion, it is about so many aspects of daily life. And I should know some of these. It will affect my life also. And such beautiful things are written in that, eternal principles are there. So Vedo Nityam Adhiyatam, when I study this Vedas, I get inspiration. I get knowledge about my culture, hold on to something higher. The next instruction says, Vedo Nityam Adhiyatam, Tad Uditam Karmasu Anushtiyatam. What karmas are written in that, one should apply. What does that mean? So what we will see is the description of karmas in the Vedas and how we can live today. Literally, if orthodoxy has to interpret it, Vedic karma means rites, rituals, Sandhya Vandan, every day, what all one should do, those. But there is a beautiful description of karma in the Veda. That is what we will see today. Is the 6 types of karmas. And these 6 types of karmas, once we understand, we can apply them daily. As we have named this series, 40 Hacks for Spiritual Happiness. Each of them are a practical sadhana, which we can apply and experience happiness within. First sadhana we saw is study. Study itself gives a lot of knowledge, inspiration, which leads to happiness. So these 6 types of karma which are given, all the Vedic karmas etc. can be divided into these 6 types. And if these 6 we are able to perform, we are utilizing karma well. So before we go into those 6 aspects, we have to understand about karma itself, some basics. Then we go into 6 aspects. So action itself is the signature of life, Gurudev used to say that, and one cannot be without action for a moment. I have to do action in any case. Even if I am not doing anything physically, I am breathing, physiological systems are working, thinking, feeling, all that keeps happening. So action cannot be avoided. There is no choice in whether I should act or not. The choice only is in how should I act. So the Gita says that not for a single moment one lives without action. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatutishtati akarmakati. Without doing action, nobody stays. And hence this Manushya Yoni is called Karma Yoni, where I do action. And I have conscious choices I can make. I have freedom. And through that freedom I can evolve. I can speed up my evolution. That's why this is called Karma Yoni. The other yonis are called Bhoga Yonis. Bhoga Yoni means you can enjoy that, the results of one's own actions. There is no conscious capacity to speed up evolution because the buddhi is not functioning in those different species. It is there, but it is not, there is self-awareness is not there. So a dog cannot speed up his evolution as a dog. What nature has programmed it to be and its own karma, whatever it is, because of which it is there, it will just go through that much. Same way, the higher beings also, if you believe in the existence of higher beings, then Devatas, Gandharva, Yaksha, Kinnara, they also cannot speed up their evolution. plants, animals, birds, they also cannot speed up. It's the human being who can, because the buddhi is there. And this buddhi can make choices. Now to make choices, we saw knowledge is important. So Vedo Nityam Adhiyatam. This karma, what exactly is karma? When we perform so many actions every day, what we have to understand very clearly is, because we have a buddhi, if our actions do not follow our values, then our values will fall to suit our actions. That's why the knowledge and holding on to some principles is very important. That these are things which I will not compromise. These are my values which I hold dear. So a simple example. If I really value that I must wake up in the morning and do my exercise, intellectually I value. But I don't push myself. Every morning when the alarm rings, I get up, put it off, 10 more minutes, back to sleep. Then I say, no, I had a very long day yesterday, not possible. Today I can't do. Tomorrow I'll do. Now my action is not conforming to my values. After 21 days of not doing this exercise, what will happen? My value will change. My action has changed my value. My value will change to say what? Why do you need exercise? Such a rajasic activity. Why don't you just learn to meditate? It's a subtler activity. No need to do exercise. You have passed that age. Some justification. So the value has changed to suit my action. Meditation and life, so many of you attend. So if you attend meditation and regularly do meditation, then that action is according to that value, and then there is integration and you evolve. But if the meditation doesn't continue, after some time one says, I don't think I'm ready for meditation. Swamiji said preparation. First few steps of preparation, karma yoga, action, single pointedness, doing one thing at a time. I think I am ready for that. So the value has changed to suit the action. Why this is important is when I am doing action, I must ask myself, what is that which I am not compromising? Am I holding on to something? That is the glory of a human being. The famous saying is what? If you don't stand for something, you fall for everything. And today, unfortunately, that is what happens. No stand for anything specific. Fall for everything. Any passing whim and fancy, some pleasure, some greed, some compromise keeps happening. So in karma, this value is very important. Otherwise, my actions will change up my value system. Whereas it should be the other way when I am an intelligent human being. So what is my action? And how do I hold on to my value system so that I don't compromise? And if I compromise with that, what should I do? That is what this essence of the 6 karmas is. So what exactly is karma? Can we call any movement as karma? Yes or no? Any movement, is it karma? Some people don't want to do the karma of answering us. Yes or no? Yes. Any movement is karma. So fan is moving, it is karma. Intelligence is karma. So if I sit and think and not do anything physical, is it karma? If I feel anger towards somebody, is it karma? If I don't do anything but I tell somebody, go and kick that fellow, is that karma? Whose karma? Both. In dream, when I kick somebody, why? Intention is not there. I kill a mosquito, am I karma? Yes. So next general mosquito will kill me? That we don't know. So interesting. Karma is where there is a doer with intention when that action is done, then that is called karma, and that will give a result. That is karma phala. Why this I should know? Because karma is affecting me every day, whether I know it or not. No, Swamiji, does this law apply only to Hindus? No. Law of gravity applies universally. Same way, law of karma is universal, whether you know it or not. If I say, no, I don't believe in law of gravity, then jump and say, test it out. It does not apply to me. Why? Because in India we didn't discover, somebody discovered outside. No, it doesn't work like that. It's a universal principle, law of karma. So I should know. Terminology may be different. Somebody may say cause and effect. Here we are saying law of karma. That doesn't matter. Terminology can be anything. So when I have this attitude that I have done it, I am doing it, I will do it, there is a sense of doership and there is a sense of belonging. So the definition of karma is this. Karma is equal to action done with body, mind and intellect, BMI, plus intention, plus doership. That is called karma. Action done with BMI. BMI means body, mind and intellect. Plus intention. Plus doership. That I have a sense of I have done it. There's a belonging, consciously done. And this karma will create a result, which I cannot escape. I may not get the result immediately. That is because karma is bound by many other laws like time, totality, so many other laws. So the result may or may not come immediately. But it will give a result. So when I know this very well, action being finite, the results are also finite. And when we want to experience this happiness, every result being finite leaves a seed for further results. Because the result giving me temporary happiness and I want permanent happiness. So I will want to do something else to become more happy. So karma keeps on creating new karmas. So if I don't know how to use karma, I will remain in bondage. But if I know how to use karma, I can use that karma and get out of this and experience that state of happiness. And that's why the study of the Veda, again important, because Veda reveals all this to us. The scriptures reveal that what is karma phala, what is karma bandhan, how do you live in this world, not to add more baggage, but to reduce the existing baggage and experience happiness. And so this karma bandhana is this aspect that our whole life itself is action oriented and today's life is influenced by yesterday. And today's action will influence my tomorrow. So if I don't know how to use this karma well, this karma and bandhan will go together. So instead of karma leading me to happiness, karma can lead me also to bondage and sorrow. And so it is that we have to know how to use this karma. What is karma? What is the impact of karma? And then how to use this karma. Because there is no choice to act. I have to act. And having acted, again there is no choice in facing the result. I cannot escape my result. Though in a short term it appears to be like that. That some people did wrong things and they got away and some people did not do any wrong things and they are still feeling they are facing some negative karma. That's because we are looking at a small window. Karma doesn't limit itself to a small window. It is accruing to the doer. And the doer remains the same. Whether after many years or whether after many lives, that entity, the individual, is the same. And hence that karma will come to that person. Hence we have to know what are these types of karmas. What should be done and what should not be done so that karma can be utilized properly. So what are these 6 types of karma? First is called nitya karma, the daily actions. I will go into the details of each of these after we enlist all these. Naimittik karma is the occasional actions, occasional duties. Kamya karma is the desire prompted activities. Nishiddha karma is prohibited activities, what should not be done. Prayaschitta karma is the atonement for any wrong or mistakes I have done. If I have done any nishiddha karma, or if I have not done what I am supposed to do, then prayaschitta karma. And upasana karma is meditation, using any support, actually not just form, any support. These are 6 types of karmas. And all these 6 are relevant to us even today. That's why we said the Vedic knowledge is eternal principles. Beautiful knowledge this is. What are each of these? We will go into this slowly. So Nitya karma means my daily duties, which I must do for my own maintenance. And this applies at all the levels, not just body level. So taking bath, getting ready, having food, doing exercise, at the body level, that is my Nitya karma. But there is Nitya karma even at the mind level. How to make the mind pure and single pointed. So in our culture there was a Nitya karma that daily one must do Gayatri Mantra, Japa, or some puja or some upasana. It's daily so that the mind becomes purified. And daily swadhyaya for the intellect to become sharp and steady. So I always give that formula, T20. T20 means 3 times 20. Exercise 20 minutes a day, meditation 20 minutes a day, and study 20 minutes a day. That's the modern version of the Vedic principles. T20. 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes. Daily one has to apply for body, mind, intellect. That's a Nitya karma. I must do daily. So when I do that daily, what happens to me? This Nitya karma is something where when I don't do that, it creates trouble for me. So if I don't take bath, obviously difficulty for me and for people. If I don't eat food, again it creates trouble. Any of these. But physical level we see it easily. Like exercise when I don't do, now the doctors say at least 3 days a week, 20 minutes one must do exercise. And if I don't do that regularly, the Nitya karma, it will create some trouble for me. Which they call as pratyavaya dosha. Now when we say pratyavaya dosha, people feel that it is like a moral injunction that is given. If you don't do this, then you will get this papa and you will suffer. It is not like that. It is a scientific law of cause and effect. If you don't do exercise, the body will deteriorate and you will suffer. Is that what do you call it? Like a commandment which is imposed, or it is a fact? It is a fact, it is going to happen. It is just a statement of a fact. It is not that some authoritative person is telling you this, that if you don't do this, you will suffer. It is a scientific explanation that if this doesn't happen, this is what will happen to you. So these are simple examples. Even antibiotics course you can say, if you have to take for 5 days, you have to take for 5 days. You have to complete that course. Even if one feels good at the 3rd day, nowadays many doctors will tell you that. Only 3 days. They may have their logic and reasons. But proper ones will say 5 days you should finish. Even if you start feeling better, you please continue and finish those 5 days. So that is a specific course. Like that, every day when I do certain things. So traditional example I have given 2. One is Sandhya Vandan, that Gayatri Mantra every one must chant in the morning and evening, sunrise and sunset. And such a beautiful prayer. Whole day I have to do so many things. I have to meet my challenges of the day. How do I prepare myself? In the morning, I pray to the Lord. I invoke the grace of the totality. Tune up myself with the universe. Let go of my petty little ego. And remind myself that I am not alone. There is such a great opportunity to evolve in life. And do the work of the day. Through the day, there will be so many things where the mind would have got affected. Rag, dvesh, etc. One gets exhausted. How do I rejuvenate again? So at sunset again chant that 6 times, 11 times. Morning, evening, 2 times. That is a Sandhya Vandan. And every time when I do this Sandhya Vandan, I am purifying my own buddhi. So if I understand the subjective benefits, then I will not do it just because it is imposed on me. I will do it because it benefits me. So Sandhya Vandan is Gayatri Mantra Japa. Traditionally there were Pancha maha yagnas which every householder is supposed to perform. What are these Pancha maha yagnas? So Deva Yagna is offering to the gods. Meaning, if I do my prayers daily, whether it is Gayatri Mantra or my Ishta Devata, Upasana, whatever it is, because human being, one of the biggest causes of stress and problems is ego. And ego arises because of attachment to this one individuality. When I know that there is a totality, there is a creator, whatever way you think about the creator, form, formless, whatever it is. But there is a creator, there is nature, anything you connect to. Every day connecting to the totality helps me to let go of my ego. Ego pressure is the biggest pressure in life. How to let go? Connect to something which is higher. So Deva Yagna is that. Brahma Yagna or Rishi Yagna is learning the ideas of our culture and living it and passing it on. We have a debt to the great Rishis that is called Rishi Rina. What culture we are living is passed on from generations to generations. And so many of them have dedicated their lives to develop this spiritual culture. Healthy values of life. So Brahma Yagna is to study the books and also to live those principles and pass it on to the next generation. When we don't do that, we have no right to even say or complain that there is culture degradation happening. Values are going from bad to worse. Value systems are broken down. Because then we are a part of that problem, instead of being a part of the solution. So Brahma Yagna is study, live and share. Pitru Yagna is ancestors, offering oblations to the ancestors. Again, many times one doesn't know why this is being done. Because there is continuity of life. Can you just call this gentleman? So there is continuity of life and we are connected at the mind level. Hence those offerings are done to the ancestors. So when we continue to perform these activities of offering to the forefathers, ancestors, etc. One is that there is continuity of life and what we do affects them, what they do affects us. Second aspect also is that this Pitru Yagna is to remind me of what values my ancestors live. And am I living those values? What were those values? That you are not merely this body. All the value systems in the Hindu culture finally come down to that you are not the body, you are not this individual. And when we live in the world, we forget that fact. Very easily we are carried away by the temptations, the sense objects, fame, name, prosperity, all that. What are those values which the parents lived? How did they teach us? How did they live? What are the things that were held dear by them? So offering to the forefathers. Pitru Yagna. Manushya Yagna is take care of the guests, so that Atithi Devo Bhava, etc. what we follow. That the Lord Himself manifests in the way in this whole universe. So when somebody comes, treat them as Bhagavan Himself has come. And Bhuta Yagna is to take care of the environment. Now, is there anything Hindu about this? These are such universal, nice principles. Anybody can follow these. And if I am able to follow these 5 every day, I can do a small amount of prayer and sadhana. I can study for a certain while. I can live certain cultural practices. How festivals used to be celebrated in simple ways, if we understand. How a Ganesh Chaturthi is celebrated, how a Makar Sankranti is celebrated. There are such beautiful things in that. Just because externally some people don't follow those, we also give up. And some of these festivals are such that today for the sake of environment, etc., they will give so many reasons. And you see, it is so strange. On Shivratri day, if you do Abhishek, 20,000 people will have a problem. Why are you wasting so much of water and milk and all that? On Holy day, you cannot play with water. Play dry colors. Diwali day, you cannot burst crackers. On, what is that? Sankranti, you cannot fly kites. Why? Because birds, their feather will get cut. On this, what we call this, Ganesh Chaturthi day, Ganesh Chaturthi, idols, etc., plaster of Paris. So some of these objections are valid and we must change so that we don't harm the environment. That's a part of our culture. But some of these we are very inconsistent and we don't see the main point in that. Where we can change, we should change. The earlier days when the Abhishek used to be done, that water and that milk is collected and distributed. Now that system has gone away. Now we condemn that whole system only. Abhishek, they are wasting water. But how much milk and how much food, etc. is wasted daily in our own houses, in so many big parties and programs and functions. There one is not being consistent. One is not advocating wasting food. But what one is trying to say is that slowly one is turning against one's own culture. One doesn't even know why there are no such restrictions for so many other occasions. And why don't we know the glory of our culture and what are the values, and then we can adapt to the changing times. How much Hindu culture has adapted, it will keep on adapting. It is not rigid into the past. But we should know. So Brahma Yajna is that when I know what are my cultural values, I study, I teach, I live. All these I can do even on a daily basis. If I can't do on a daily basis, our culture has still given us the freedom. In once in a year, Shraddha has to be done. Now, because a Pandit may be exploiting, will I stop doing that practice? Because suppose a doctor has become commercial minded, because education has become commercial minded, will I stop sending my child to school? Will I stop taking medicine from doctors? But why do I do that for religion and spirituality? Because I think it is not necessary, I can let it go. Because that value is not enough. Hence, a person who understands the depth of this will try to find out what is the significance, why this should be done, why was this being done by people, and then start living that. So these are 5 yagnas. So this is part of Nitya Karma where I can do daily and invoke higher and higher potential within me. Naimittik Karma is that which is done occasionally. So the occasional duties, birthday, marriage, Shraddha, wedding anniversary, graduation ceremony, these are all occasional duties. And these occasional duties, in our culture, there are these 16 samskars which are also under these occasional duties. Beautiful system, Shodasha samskar that is called. From conception till the final rites, 16 beautiful samskars. Your homework is to find out these 16 samskars. What are these? What are the 16 samskars? One should know. And the idea here is that samskar literally means to culture, to train the mind. Samskriti comes from that. Impression. Samskar is an impression on the mind. How to culture this mind to live higher ways of life and not fall for the lower, baser values of life. That reminder and that training is the samskara. So Upanayana is where before I start studying, I should become ready. So Upanayana samskar is done, Janevu samskar is done. Nowadays it is very strange. One day before marriage, Janevu samskar is done. And stranger than that is, after marriage, that Janevu one person removes and puts it in the cupboard. For what was that samskar even done? No, that has to be done, so we did it. We didn't understand why it was to be done. Before study of the scriptures begins, the person starts making himself ready. And to study the scripture properly, buddhi has to be sharp. So go on chanting the Gayatri mantra every day. And continue that chanting till 75 years. It is left only when you take sannyas. What will be that mind when it goes on chanting Gayatri mantra? 75 years. Let us say 70 years. At age of 5, 6, it can be given. Janevu samskar is given. Like that, vivaha. One may say, it is easier to why waste so much of money, go to a registrar, get married, and distribute that money to everybody else. One can say that. But there is an impact of the ritual also when it is done properly. So one can find out a proper person. And in some places that is happening now. It is very good where they will find the person, they will print the mantras, they will write the meaning of the mantra, the Pandit will explain everything, everybody will sit properly and understand, which is a good thing because then everybody knows what is happening. Otherwise the bride and the bridegroom also don't know what vows they have taken, what have they promised to each other, why this ceremony is being done. And funniest part in that is they will say, Panditji, bhagao, jaldi karo. They themselves come late and then Muhurat is gone and then they say fatafat karo. Why? Because people are waiting for reception and all kinds of things. Once in a life one is getting married. Sorry, that was earlier. Okay, so marriage is happening. It is a whatever we say. It is a sacred thing that is happening and you invoke the blessings and remember the ancestors. So many things are attached with that ceremony. Now the beauty of this whole thing is that we have let go of the essential and held on to the non-essential and added on to that. Mehendi and Sangeet are not even there in the scripture. It's a very small ceremony in that, before the marriage what they do. It is not so elaborate. But the essential ceremony which is there, that one compromises, but the other thing one keeps adding on. So, Vivaha, Upanayanam, Antyeshti, these are some of the main samskars. There is samskar for everything. Tonsure of the head, Karnaveda, the piercing of the ear, the first time the child is fed a cereal, the first outing, then you finish graduation and you come back, and then Vivaha happens. So, find out your homework. It is 16 samskars. Which are the 16 samskars? And how many of them have you done for yourselves? Your family has done for you, and how many have you done for your family? Find out. So these are to be done on special occasions, and in Vedanta this technical word niyata karma means the first two, daily duties and obligatory duties, and these are called my duties actually. There is no freedom in that I should do or not do. I am supposed to do this. Nitya and Naimittik karma is what a seeker must focus on. They are called obligatory duties. In the Gita, Bhagavan says the first step of Karma Yoga is Niyatam Kuru Karmatvam. Arjun, do your obligatory duties. Don't run away from them. Not doing them incurs negative karma. What we saw earlier. Kamya karma is the third type of karma, which is desire prompted activities. So it is not bad, but one should know the limitations of desire prompted activities. These desire prompted activities, they create a lot of stress, worry, tension because there is an attachment in that. And these desire prompted activities, the more the number of desires, the more will be the stress that I have, more agitations I have. So if I want to be happy, the spiritual hack for happiness here is reduce the desire prompted activities. Make them selfless. We are not saying don't have desires, just saying change the quality of desires. So if you see the third instruction in Sadhana Panchakam, it is said, Tene shasya vidhiyatam. Dedicate it to the Lord. Whatever karmas I am doing, offer it to Bhagavan. Especially these, sakama karma. Because they are done with ego, with self-importance, there is tremendous amount of attachment. So that will create stress. So here it is that I should understand this cycle of kamya karma, how this kamya karma works. So many of you may know this. So the impressions in our mind, they give rise to desires. Why somebody desires something and somebody doesn't desire something is because of their own impressions. On a Sunday morning, so many of you are sitting here. Many of you are not here. Many people are not there. Why? Because your impressions have brought you here. Some other people's impressions have taken them somewhere else. So the desire arises according to our own past impressions. These past impressions, when they create desire in us, the desires which are strong, they will sustain and they create thoughts. How to fulfill those desires. So those thoughts will happen. Those thoughts will give rise to actions. Because those thoughts, when they are there, they make me restless. I have to do something about it. Act. When I act, I will get a reaction or a result, and that result will create further impression. This is the cycle of karma. So once I understand that any selfish or desire prompted activity that I do, that will create seed for further karmas. So kamya karma actually is the cause of karma bandhan. It is not action by itself which binds a person. It is the ego and the intention which binds the person. If I do the same action without that sense of self-importance and ego, it binds, it doesn't bind. So if I do exercise with the thought that it is to maintain the body so that sadhana can be done, or it is to serve the people around me, if there is a selfless intention behind it, that same karma does not bind. But if there is a selfish intention behind it, that I should look good, I should be praised, beyond some age, people like to hear that craving, you have lost weight, I think. It sounds so sweet. You have lost weight. So, then that is going to add, and then somebody doesn't say, I get tensed about it. So that adds to my karma. So any activity it can be, any action it can be. How to make that activity selfless? That is the key to get out of karma bandhan. So when I dedicate it to a higher purpose, tene shasya vidhiyatam, when it is said, it could be any purpose which is higher than myself, highest being Bhagavan. That I do it because Bhagavan placed me here and I do it as my offering to the Lord. Then what happens? My existing karma gets exhausted, but new karma is not getting added. Because I did it only as a performance of duty. So when duties are done and dedicated to a higher purpose, that is a spiritual hack for happiness. Not doing the duty is sowing the seed for sorrow, and doing the duty for selfish purpose again is sowing the seed for stress. So how to do my duty? So if I am cooking in the house, I am taking care of the house. If I do it for that purpose that this is for my family, I dedicate it to family. Over. Then this self-importance that, nobody respects me, nobody bothers, nobody gives any appreciation, why should I even do it? All that will not be there. Because I do it for its own sake. There's such joy in that. If I do it for the sake of the Lord, saying, Bhagavan put me here, I take care of people in my family as an instrument of His, I'm done. No stress, no tension, no worry, nothing. That's the simplest and beautiful internal adjustment that I can do, that I do not allow anything such outside to make my mind stressed out. So Kamya Karma is that which strengthens this bondage. And that's why the key is the selflessness. That how do I transform that Kamya Karma into Nishkama Karma? That is the sadhana. So to do the duties daily, Nitya Karma, Naimittik Karma, and then to transform that Kamya Karma into Nishkama Karma. You start with even one aspect of life. If the whole day is difficult to do, just one aspect of life, transform into pure selflessness, where I do it for its own sake, not for the result that it is going to give me and how I am going to benefit out of it. No. Imagine doing exercise for the sake of exercise, eating food for the sake of eating food, not to please the tongue. Will I not eat? Then what is healthy for my body? Because I eat because I need to eat to take care of the body. 2 inches of the tongue, how much I can give into? And I harm myself. But if I eat for the sake of eating, exercise for the sake of exercise, work for the sake of work, where I find joy in the work itself, that is transforming that. How to do that? Find a higher purpose. So Kamye Matihi Tyajyatam also will be said ahead in Sadhana Panchakam. The fourth type of karma is Nishiddha Karma. What is Nishiddha Karma? That which is prohibited. Now this, when we say prohibited, again we say, who are you to tell me what should I eat, what should I not eat, and what should I wear, and what should I not wear? It is not like that. It is like saying that don't go out in the sun after 9 o'clock, otherwise you may get skin cancer, whatever. Or if you go out, put some, what is that cream? To prevent from sunburn, ultraviolet rays and all that. Sunscreen lotion, sunscreen, whatever. So then put that and go out. You say, who are you to tell me to put? Now that is unnecessary rebellion. The fact is that there are ultraviolet rays and it will affect your skin, so you please put and go. So those actions which are harmful to a human being and harmful to the society, generally observed, are written down and saying, don't do these are prohibited because they will hurt you. Not everybody is intelligent enough to find out the logic and not do it by themselves after understanding the significance. So they are made as rules. But it does not mean it is imposed on somebody. So these actions which are harmful to oneself, Nishiddha Karma. So they are inappropriate. How do I know what is harmful to myself and others? It may be inappropriate to a particular stage of life. So as a student, if I value sense enjoyments and pleasures more than knowledge, my whole focus will go away into only enjoyment. And that precious time where the brain is in the formative years, where the mind is sharp enough, memory is working very well, I must gain knowledge. So at that time it is said certain things are do's and certain things are don'ts. And once one follows that, you see the benefit of it. As a grahasti, what are the do's and don'ts? What should I do for my family? I must take care of them, my elders and this and that. So much disintegration in the society because of this. Why one has not followed this? Parents are sent away to old age homes. They are dumped, they are deserted. Because one is not doing their daily duty. And the duty towards the people in my family. So when I say these are things to be done, when it is said in the scripture that these should be done, and when it is said they should not be done, that is keeping in mind all these. Certain things a renunciate person should not do, because that is not conducive for their way of living. Temperament. These are 4 temperaments of human mind. These are not by birth. So somebody who is a thinker should not waste his time doing just some menial job, not utilizing their potential. And somebody who is not capable of thinking cannot be put up there. So when somebody has understood their own temperament and chosen a profession according to that, that is called swadharma. That person will excel in that. And not to follow one's own swadharma is nishiddha. So Arjun wanted to run away and wanted to live in the forest begging alms. Is he ready for that? Not ready for it. So for him that is prohibited. Bhagavan says, no, don't do that. You will incur sin. Means what? Your existing vasanas or tendencies to lead, to protect, to fight for righteousness, those are not exhausted. And sitting in the forest, you are not ready for meditation. So you are neither doing this nor doing that. Suffocation in the personality. That is called sin. So when we say that prohibited karma leads to sin, when you perform a prohibited karma, so if basic things like don't cheat, don't steal, don't loot, don't murder, don't tell lies, if we look at them as do's and don'ts, then there is a problem. Then we want to rebel. But if we look at them as principles which are told for the integration of our personality, then we start following.
How does one actually find out what the true temperament is? What
No, so it is not. So Arjun did not have Krishna for that, finding out that temperament. His temperament was Kshatriya, but that time he got confused about his temperament and he wanted to run away. So finding out one's own swadharma depends on, I have to do my own introspection. For that, if I need help, there can be certain different ways by which I can understand. There may be certain questions that I can ask myself. Some people can guide me. I can find out certain things where my mind becomes silent or absorbed doing that particular work. Those are different methods. It's actually a subjective discovery. Externally there can be some tests or whatever aptitude, this, that, some people can help me in that. But mainly it is my understanding about my own self. And so I need to ask the right questions. That doing what gives me maximum satisfaction, which will invoke my maximum potential. Where if money is not a compulsion, what would I be doing in my life? What would I be remembered for? What would I like to be remembered for? How am I contributing to the society? Many of these questions I can ask. And also analyze my temperament. Do I have a sattvic temperament or a rajasic temperament or a tamasic temperament? And once I understand the moods of my mind, based on that, what kind of profession I can choose. So it's a subjective journey. And different models in our culture, we have the model of the three gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas. And then to identify based on that. Psychology may have some other model. So there are different ways to find out. What did I really value as a child? In psychology, they have that exercise. From 0 to 5, what did I really value? From 6 to 10, what did I value? From 11 to 15, what did I value? And if you write down, some of them will say that there will be one common thread you may find in it. If you analyze it, you will find that, oh, this is what I actually valued and I forgot that because of certain external pressures. But this is what where my heart belongs. So those are exercises which one can do and find out. Actions which are below human dignity. Below human dignity means we are here for unity. We are not here for divisions, for destruction of people, of environment, etc. All those actions get prohibited actions. They become prohibited. So Nishiddha karma, when I do more and more of Nishiddha karma, I create more and more agitations, fragmentation in my personality. So these are 4 types of karma. What are they? First one is Nitya karma. Second, Naimittik karma. Third, Kamya karma. Fourth, Nishiddha karma. In these 4, the first 2 are compulsory. Nitya karma, Naimittik karma should be done. Third one, transform that into Nishkama karma, selfless actions. Fourth karma, Nishiddha karma, avoid. Don't do it. If I land up doing it, there are two things. When I do a Nishiddha karma, there is an external result and there is an internal tendency. So first time I lie, there is an external result which will come, and there is an internal tendency that if I have got away with it, the mind says, I can lie. That will prompt me to lie further. So Prayashchitta karma is done to avoid this. What is it? It is to atone for the wrong actions that I have done, knowingly or unknowingly. No, but why should I atone for actions done unknowingly? Because external result is still going to come. Internal impact may not be there, but external result will still come. And hence it is that these two stages are there. In the scripture they say pataka or papa, which are mistakes when they are done. Then we repent for it, we feel bad, oh God, why did I do this? Under some impulsiveness, some desire, compulsion, I may have compromised. Now, I, in my saner moments, realized, I should not have said this, I should not have done this, I should not have hurt this person, why did I do it? Second stage is Prayashchitta, where I ensure that that tendency gets removed. Otherwise, it will create further negative karma, further negative results. So, a firm resolve not to do those, and not just a firm resolve. Some places it has to be a certain practice I have to do to reverse that. Please remember, this is the logic behind Prayashchitta karma. It is not to say that you are a sinner and because you are a sinner, you have to do this Prayashchitta karma. It is not done with that blaming attitude. The attitude is that yes, I made a mistake. Now how do I ensure that I don't continue to make that mistake? I must reverse that tendency. So if I lied to somebody, I must go and confess to that person saying, I am sorry, this is not the truth that I had said. And then go and explain the truth. And if that person gets angry, face it with dignity. Because they have all rights to get upset. Because one did not be truthful to them. So face that external result. Ensure that internally one does not allow the mind to think that okay, you can say this and get away, who knows, nobody knows. Then that mind has become purified. So this Prayashchitta karma, in the scripture there are two types of sins. One is called as maha papa. They are like horrible types of karma. And second is upapapa, which means smaller types of agitations. Both of these, they will create agitations in the mind. The degree of agitations will be less or more. And both of them need Prayashchitta karma. They are not justified. They are not saying chota chota hai kar lo chalo. It's okay. You just see in the scripture what is written there. Cutting trees also is a papa. How environment friendly was that time. Again, when we say papa, we think that somebody will be put into hell and they will be roasted as a pakoda and all that stuff. That is one fear psychology created in the mind so that people don't do that. But logical thinking people have to understand it does create or not. Dubai mein there are rains now and that airport is flooded in this month. How that happened? Because we have messed up with the environment and we are continuing to mess up with the environment. That is the result of that's called papa in traditional language, that is called papa, and facing the result of papa karma. Why? Because I did wrong actions, I made a blunder. Now that result will come. So, what is the Prayashchitta? Go and sow more and more trees. Ensure that the damage caused is reversed and don't do further damage. All that is called Prayashchitta. So, there can be certain modes of tapas and there are traditional methods given. Do certain amount of japa, do certain dan, do certain fasting. All these are so that my mind does not entertain that negative tamasic or a rajasic tendency and it is filled with sattva guna so that it will not do the wrong. It is not to be done blindly. Okay, if I have done this and I do this much down and I am free from that. And the strange part is japa. Somebody will be told, you have to do 1 lakh times Mrityunjay Japa. So they will immediately ask a question. So is it necessary that I should do? Cannot somebody do it on my behalf? हम पंडित को बिठा दें. अरे, but when that negative karma was done, that karma was done by you. That time you didn't say that should I do it. Now the result is also going to come to you only. And forget the external result. Internal tendency to do the wrong is still there. No? How do I reverse that? So if Pandit is doing japa for my papa karma is not going to get exhausted. His punya karma is going to increase. Because that result will come to him. He may dedicate it to me, so to that extent I may get benefited. But my tendency doesn't get reversed. So I have to do that for my mistake and error in judgment. So that is a prayaschitta karma. So in prayaschitta karma also is a beautiful way to ensure consistency. So if you see the traditional Sandhya Vandan, if I am not doing my Gayatri Mantra Japa today, if I missed for whatever reasons, next day I have to do prayaschitta karma. That not only that tomorrow's quantity, so if every day I am supposed to do 108 and I don't do today 108, what will I do? Tomorrow I have to do 108 of tomorrow plus 108 of today plus 108 of missing. It is not just making up. That tendency for the mind to skip it, that should not be there. So you say now do 324 times. Next time the mind feels sleepy and says, no, aaj nahi karna hai. Your buddhi will say, tomorrow you want to do 324? No. Better do 108 today. So prayaschitta helps in that way to build willpower, to build consistency. Otherwise, mind is so tricky, no? And it's such an expert in creating excuses, new excuses. Swamiji, when I sit to meditate, I get a headache, Some people may get because they don't know how to meditate. But some people, it's the trick of the mind, headache. My mind is wandering. Some excuse the mind gives and just escapes. To avoid that, prayaschitta karma is important. The mind should know, and it can be done in different ways. In winter especially, one of the best things that has worked, I used to practice this earlier. Best thing that works is, because winter is a very cozy time, one likes to be in the blanket and sleep, and morning sandhya, morning meditation, one misses. The day you miss that, when you get up, take cold water bath. And if it is warm during the day, put ice in that and then take that cold water bath. And you will see the body shivers literally. And next day in the morning, it will jump up out of the bed and sit and do that jump. Because it doesn't want to go through that pain of putting cold water on. No, Swami, this is torture. Why should you do this torture? No, but the not doing that japa is a greater torture, by the way. That I am letting go easily. So body has to get controlled. So these are different types of prayaschitta that one can do. And the scriptures have a list. For this is a prayaschitta, this is a prayaschitta. Some of these, when you read the list, you may find very orthodox. But we should remember this is smriti. It can be changed by time to make it more relevant today. Last karma is upasana karma. Upasana karma is to make the mind single pointed and to make it subtler. So to superimpose something extraordinary on something very ordinary. So on a piece of flag, when the bhavana of the whole country, that this is symbol of my country and it invokes patriotism, then that is Rashtra Upasana. Same way, on a picture, I superimpose this is Shiva, or this is Devi, or this is Krishna, and then I meditate on that form. So on something ordinary, on a stone, I say no, this is Shaligram, and I remember Bhagavan Vishnu. So on a symbol, holding on to that symbol, I am connecting something divine. What happens with Upasana Karma? Bhava Samshuddhi happens. Emotions get purified. Devotion gets invoked. And I have a concrete support system to connect to that which is infinite. Otherwise, to think of infinite without a support system, how it is possible? Mind only thinks in terms of form. Hence, as you think, so you become. So if I consistently meditate, let us say on form of Shivji, and that picture is peaceful picture, I am internalizing the ideal of balance, peace, equanimity in my mind. A picture goes deep and transforms the subconscious. So whatever is the form that I use or a support that I use helps to internalize and make the mind purified. So upasana karma also is to be done in a daily manner. So they give both concentration of the mind and purity of mind. People whose mind wanders and they sit for meditation and they just want to be sakshi and all that is because the upasana karma is not done. Single pointedness of the mind has not been attained. And then I want to straight away meditate. It will wander only because the mind has not been trained. Before I get into meditation, I need to practice upasana for a long period of time. Make it single pointed. Integrate emotion and thought. That is upasana. Beauty of upasana is that. With the picture, engage the thought, and with the feeling, engage the emotion. Bring both these together. It can be for using the breath, it can be using chakra, it can be using form, mantra, whatever it is. But both are necessary. Purity and concentration will come. So these are 6 types of karmas. What is the intelligent way to do karma? Is Bhagavan says, do the nitya karma and naimittik karma. Focus on that. If something is not my obligatory duty, I should ask myself, do I even need to do it? Because it's unnecessary creating karma bondage. So focus on the obligatory duties and do not compromise in that. Whatever is my daily duty and obligatory duty, naimittik karma, occasional duty, I must do it. Transform kamya karma into Nishkama karma. That will reduce my stress and anxieties. Avoid Nishiddha karma completely. That will help me to drop guilt and low self-image. I am weak, I can't give in, I can't hold on to certain values, I very easily compromise. That gives wrong self-image, low self-image. Give up the Nishiddha karma. So if I am not waking up early and I am sleeping for long, I am not doing my Nitya karma and I am doing my Nishiddha karma. That is happening to me. Then might as well get up, start doing it. So give up the Nishiddha karma totally. If at all I do Nishiddha karma, do the prayaschitta and let go of that tendency. And finally, every day do upasana karma and improve concentration and positivity. These 6 karmas if I follow, if you see the first verse actually is an elaboration of these. So Vedo nityam adhiyatam, study the Vedas daily. Tad uditam karma sanushtiyatam, follow the karmas given in the Vedas. These are the 6. Third instruction says Tene shasya vidhiyatam, dedicate that to the Lord. That is the way to transform Nishkama, Sakama to Nishkama. Kamya matis tyajyatam, give up the kamya karmas, meaning transform them into Sakama. Papaugha paridhuyatam, wash away all the sins, meaning drop the Nishiddha karma and do prayaschitta karma to wash away the sins. Papaugha paridhuyatam, bhavasukhe doshono sandhiyatam. That instruction we will take up in the next class, that how to see the limitations of sense enjoyments. So first 5 instructions we have seen so far. Vedo nityam adhiyatam, taduvidam karma swanushtiyatam, tene shasya vidhiyatam, apachiti kamya matis tyajyatam, papaugha paridhuyatam. 5 instructions. Rest we will continue in the next session. So there are also beautiful talks on the Sadhana Panchakam. One of the most beautiful series of talks Gurudev has given is on the Sadhana Panchakam. And those DVDs are also available outside. Any of you want to take it and listen, you are welcome to. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Which one?
Swamiji, you mentioned about Antyeshti karma. Now there is a philosophy going on donating the body. How do we reconcile that? Or do we adopt with the change of time?
Of course, that will adapt with the change of time. Donating the body and doing Antyeshti karma, they will not conflict. That is
Okay.
one. So, if the body is getting donated, it is a higher karma than doing Antyeshti karma.
Okay.
If the whole body is being donated.
Okay.
If parts are only being donated, because there are only a few things which you can actually donate.
Right.
5 or 6 things only you can donate.
Right.
And then if the rest of the body is there, then you can utilize it
Okay.
for the Antyeshti karma.
Okay.
So it depends on how you are doing. So if at all the whole body is also donated, no problem.
Because in today's world, what I've observed is that a lot of people come for the Shok Sabha, Pratna, but that is only for recording their presence. It becomes a lot of inconvenient for them. So instead of carrying on with that same tradition, if we can give up those
No,
traditions.
see, Antyeshti karma does not mean only a Shok Sabha.
Huh.
Antyeshti karma has many other aspects in that. There are mantras, there are many other things.
Okay.
And those have to be done, the part has to be done. Gita can be read, certain Puranas can be read.
Okay.
Those help that individual who has departed
Okay.
through the thoughts, and when you do it with the understanding of the meaning, you are helping that departed soul also to cope with the newer environments.
Okay.
Those are all parts of Antyeshti karma.
Okay.
So those can still be done, whether body is there or not there. So I have to find out what are the things which are there in Antyeshti karma and what is applicable if the body and its parts are available. If it is not available, then what is applicable and follow accordingly. Certain things can be changed by time. If you don't want to have a Shok Sabha, no issue. That is a social tradition.
Okay.
That can change, but there are the spiritual and the other aspects are not dependent on that. Those can be done individually by the family or the individual.
So basically, according to the time, we have to keep on changing. We have to be more flexible. Thank you.
Only for revision and for ease of following what you're saying, a printout or an email for PPT is really helpful.
No, email I will send.
Either email or printout, whatever works.
Yeah. We were not able to upload last week the
Fine.
talk, so I didn't send the email. This week I will send.
Thank you. But then we don't have to copy all this. Thank you. Hari Om.
Swami, Agamas you're saying, no? I've always thought Agamas were for Jainas. Like,
No.
I mean,
That is
that
just
word,
because Jain use it
huh.
doesn't mean Agama is only for Jains. No, there are
No, that's what I mean. I was
so many
surprised. It's the
Agamas
first
are
time
there.
I'm hearing actually.
Yeah. There are lots of Agamas.